Yo, what is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm one of your hosts, the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome. And of course, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight himself, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And DeepBoyce, we are here to talk about some Justice League. Let's do it.
Bong bong over me.
What did you think of the trailer, man? Trailer number 2 just dropped today. The day that we're recording is March 25th right now.
Yeah.
Just dropped today, man.
Okay, look. It's not bad. Not bad. The action looks decent, and some of the characters do look cool. I'm just trying to.
I said some Hess that's gonna come from you,
I'm just trying to call it down the middle because I feel like we maybe get a little too negative when it comes to DC movies.
Sometimes, yeah.
But it looks good sometimes, and then it looks a little too CG some other times in terms of the background. Obviously, Cyborg.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too late. I don't know what they could do with Cyborg, but I'm not really sold. I know people were going crazy about the costumes. They don't really bother me too much. I think Aquaman's costume looks dope as fuck. I think Aquaman's probably the coolest looking character in this trailer.
Aquaman had the best transition from comic books to live action because he has, in the comics, he's got the orange and green, not the most beautiful colors put together ever. Unless, you're a pumpkin. Shout out to the pumpkins out there. And then he's got a little bit of the scaly look too on his suit. But with the way they did it here is that they kind of made it armor plating instead, and it's kind of a darker hue of green, and as opposed to making it like a straight up orange color, it's like a golden bronze tint. You know what I mean? So it still has like it doesn't really look orange, but I would say more like a yellowish orange color, which I think looks awesome.
It's a great adaptation.
Honestly, yeah, I think it looks great. And I'll be honest with you, from the trailer, I can tell you that my perception is that he's probably going to be the coolest, badass character. That seems to be where he's coming from. He seems to be the cool guy. You know what I mean? I think
Jason Momoa
he's going to get a lot of shine.
Jason Momoa is charismatic as hell.
He is.
I guess Namor is not exactly on the same level as Aquaman, but it would have been cool if he were Namor or something in a Marvel movie where everything was all kind of put together and whatnot. But, he's Aquaman. They're making it happen. Justice League.
Yeah. So I want to bring up something real quick, too, because this is something that we've kind of, talked about, right? So one thing is the Flash's suit, right? We've kind of had issues with the suit, man. First, one thing that we've heard is, the shoulders, right? The shoulders kind of stick out a little bit. Looks too, armory. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you could argue there's obviously functional purposes to that and reasons for armor. But we kind of feel like it looks a little bulky. You know what I'm saying? There's also the fact that, the symbols on his are near his ears look more like boomerangs as opposed to lightning bolts. Actually, I'm not a fan of that. Okay. I really don't like that at all. But one of the things I think that bugged us the most, because we talked about it, was the wires that he has, the cables that he seems to have stringed across his costume. So there's a scene about maybe the first minute of the trailer. It's actually around the end of the first minute of the trailer. And you see him running, and if you slow it down, you can actually see that there seems to be a functional reason for the wires. And that's to conduct the electricity that he generates while he's running, and I guess make sure it has a way to flow around him, if you will. Now you could argue you could be like, oh well, Barry Allen in the comics, he produces lightning, obviously doesn't hurt him, but it is an interesting idea to make those wires have a functional reason where it basically helps the electricity to flow around him, or it basically helps in conducting the electricity and creating a natural flow where if it connects with him, let's say in his chest area, it'll just flow behind him and kind of trail off as he runs away. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, because we kind of cut on that and didn't like that. But it seems like there's a functional reason for it.
I suppose. I can't really hate on that. When I think of the Flash's mythos, I never really thought of that. Like, I always thought
Yeah.
that the Flash would have a suit that would help with the friction, but then on top of that, I think the Speed Force envelops him, so there's like he could run in his normal clothes and he'd be all right.
Right.
But I guess, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't really have much of a problem with the suit. I guess it just kind of it fits with the theme of everyone else. You know?
Sure.
Everyone else has like really like latticed, multi-faceted armor, like very detailed armor. So I guess instead of just kind of giving him some sort of normal looking suit, they wanted to give him something that fits in with like Batman and Aquaman and even Wonder Woman and even Superman. Superman, the suit has a lot of detail when you look up close.
Sure.
But I guess it's just my biggest
Superman, who was nowhere to be seen in this trailer, by the way. He was dead in that universe.
Yeah, spoilers: he died after Batman vs Superman.
Well, we all know he's coming back.
He's coming back at the very end. He did the Dragon Ball Z thing where he was powering up and the pebbles were floating up in the air. But my issue with the Flash isn't really his look; it's more the characterization that I'm seeing of the character. It doesn't really seem like Barry Allen at all. At all.
Think it's more akin to Wally West.
In a way.
It does. He does sound a little more Wally West, where it's a little more jokey, a little bit more young and youthful. So I hear you on that front, but at the end of the day, like, there's part of me that also feels like, yes, you could be mad about that being Barry Allen and about that being more like Wally West and not Barry Allen. But at the end of the day, like, all I care about is if the character is well done. Like, he fits well in the movie. His script writing, like the lines he has is good. His storyline is good. That's all I really care about. I don't care. I like that he's Barry Allen. You know what I mean? I like that they went with the first Flash. Cool. Even though there's a lot of Wally West fans out there, I'm just not really picking any bones about that because I'm like, for all intents and purposes, I could love this Barry Allen and love what they did with his personality. Yeah. I don't know.
It's not even whether he's like Barry Allen or Wally West or this or that. It's just, from what I've seen, it just hasn't really sold me as, the Flash to me is a cool character, and it's just like, I'm seeing his trailers and it's just like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling the lines that they're giving. I mean, it's a trailer, so we'll see how it ultimately pans out. But the other characters definitely seem much more interesting than he does. It seems like they were forcing the awkwardness a bit with this character, with this version of Barry Allen.
I think... I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
No, I was also going to say, I mean, it's probably going to move on to a different topic. But also, why does everything seem so dark? Like the lighting of everything. I know some people like to complain about how DC tries to be dark in theme, but my complaint is the DC does well in terms of visuals. I think these movies have looked good for the most part, but everything is so goddamn dark. Like Batman, the Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman was dark the entire time.
Sure.
Like, even when they were in the desert, it was mad dark.
Yeah.
So I'm just... I mean, I don't know. They don't have to be bright and colorful like Marvel, obviously. I'm not even trying to make that comparison. But it's... I feel like I'm going to strain my eyes when I'm actually in the movie theater watching this.
I think, it does... I think it stems from two arenas. I think, one, they definitely want to go for a little bit more of that grounded route that they've always talked about, but at the same time...
Grounded to what, though?
I also... Huh?
Grounded to what, though?
Because that's a good question.
I live in reality, and reality's pretty... It's got a lot of colors. It's pretty bright.
I think... And once again, I think, the high stakes. I think... The idea of like there being high stakes and real world consequences to everything they do, I think with these heroes and what they're fighting, that's why they kind of create like this grim picture with the aesthetic. That's just my guess. I have no idea. Like, obviously that's me just guessing. I have no insight into that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, and the bigger reason why I think they're doing this, and this to me even trumps what I said before, is that they're trying to differentiate themselves aesthetically from Marvel. That's the biggest thing that I see, because you looked at like the posters that they were dropping as this, as the days winded down to this trailer, and then you looked at the day before the trailer dropped, a couple posters dropped for Spider-Man: Homecoming, and you saw how vibrant the colors were. You see how vibrant the colors are for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You see how vibrant the colors are for Thor: Ragnarok, and I genuinely think DC wants you to look at their movies and say, we're not Marvel. Mm-hmm. And I think the best way for them to do that is to aesthetically just, turn, go in the opposite direction in terms of look and feel.
Yeah.
And once again, I think it all stems from the fact that, like it or not, Batman is the center of what DC does. Mm-hmm. And Batman is their dark, gritty character. And I think they've let that, inspiration kind of bleed over into their overall interpretation of the DC world.
Yeah. I mean,
or universe.
I see that, and it's less of a nitpick for this movie. It's just, I guess, something that as a moviegoer I've seen with a lot of movies where a lot of directors, I don't know what the trend is, but people either pick like a greenish hue or a bluish hue, or they like really tone down the brightness in a lot of different movies, and it makes sense for the average individual, because I'm sure if maybe like a 3-year-old kind of sees this or sees Batman vs Superman, or sees Man of...
I hope a 3-year-old isn't watching these movies.
Well, I'm saying someone that doesn't know nearly as much as we do, that doesn't look into it as much, that just kind of just is a passerby, may just go watch these. It's a summer popcorn flick. They you can quickly tell, like, oh, this has like a DC vibe to it. Like, they're going for a certain vibe, and I totally understand that. I just feel that, again, when I see the DC films, they use actual film as opposed to Marvel that uses like digital cameras, or they used to. I think they're starting to transition into actual film, and that's why that Marvel.
Wait, so DC? Mm-hmm. So wait, what? DC movies use what now? What?
Like actual film.
Okay.
Instead of a digital
to record
camera.
their movies?
Yeah.
I see.
Marvel's been using digital cameras. That's why their movies seem a little washed out in terms of the colors. Mm. And when I see these DC films, I notice a lot of like nice details on costumes, on the locations that they're at, and I still think that can give it a certain look and a certain vibe without having to turn the colors down, like turn the brightness down rather. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when I think Batman, I think gothic, and that does include being dark, but it's not even turning down the brightness. You can portray gothicness with a contrast in blacks and white, if that makes any sense.
Not just that, but I'm going to reference a video game that people might not know if they listen to us, but Bloodborne.
Yes.
It's a perfect example of a game that had a gothic style, and anyone can look up screenshots of Bloodborne. Mm-hmm. A game that had a gothic style, but had great contrast. Like, for example, there are times where you're kind of like hanging out in like the upper areas of the buildings, I guess you can call it. Mm-hmm. And, you see all the spires and towers in the sky, but then it's contrasted by it being, sunset or dawn. I don't know. I think it's sunset.
Yeah, it's like the moon and then dawn. Yeah. Sunset,
right,
the moon, and then dawn
right.
as well. Yeah.
So the sharp black, arches and, I don't know, spires.
Yeah, no, they make use of blacks, grays, and blues, as well as like reds. Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You can use
orange, yellow,
those themes and that color scheme for these films. And when I think of Superman, I think of like Art Deco. I think of like gold, like shades of gold and yellow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't necessarily think of. I think that was one of the problems of Man of Steel. Yes, I understand Batman is maybe leading the charge, or they're trying to go for a darker mood, but typically Superman is he's got some color there. He's got a color scheme to it. But I mean, these are minor nitpicks. And I thought the trailer was good.
I think it's a good step for him.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of excitement, but there's also some apprehension because people who hate on DC, like most, a lot of them have grown up with these characters and are fans, and they want to be good.
Yeah. And
I think this looks great. And honestly, you could say what you want about Suicide Squad. I didn't see it. I can't really say much about it. But I think the feel they were going for with the come together cover that they have, that they're using as the musical theme, I think they're going for the same appeal that Suicide Squad had. And honestly, that made that trailer easily digestible.
Yeah.
And people enjoyed it, and people enjoyed this trailer. And once again, I'm watching the video right now. I'm looking at Cyborg. Yeah. That's a no for me for that costume. I just had to bring that up again.
Yeah,
man. That's my final word.
And another problem that I again, it's a trailer. It's who knows how the final movie will be until it actually comes out. But as fans of the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and having read comics, we know the kind of relationship Batman or Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen have, which is something that they're trying to show, which I think is a positive. Yeah. They're trying to show a relationship between Bruce Wayne and Arthur Curry, which is different from what I've seen before, but I actually like it. I think because that is probably one of the more interesting things in the trailer. Arthur Curry, Bruce Wayne interacting. Arthur Curry's kind of just he seems like the one person here that's not intimidated by Batman. He's just kind of joking around with him, which that's cool. Yeah. I'm all right with that. And then I think they did a decent job establishing the relationship between Wonder Woman and Bruce Wayne. Sure. The only one that kind of stands out, or rather doesn't stand out, because it doesn't seem like they really fit in this Justice League from the trailers, is Cyborg. Like he doesn't. Like, I don't know, you don't get an idea of who he is or what's going on exactly. I mean, there's one shot where it seems like he's crying or something. Maybe he's supposed to be kind of the quiet, tortured soul because he's like 20%, like not even 10% human. Like his face, that's all that's left, and he's just like some sort of Frankenstein's monster. That could be interesting, I guess, but I'm worried. I'm worried for Cyborg. And you know, I don't always want to bring this up, but, you know, characters that are black or minorities, they're few and far between. So you kind of want them to be done well when you do get them. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you know, me personally, I get a little extra worried. I think about it a little bit more probably than I should, because like we said before, we're not exactly looking for Cyborg, but we have Cyborg, so they might as well knock it out the park if they can.
Yeah, they might as well make him a character that we're interested in and do it well. Make sure it's well done. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I agree with you. You know, I think that Cyborg in the Justice League just feels a little off. Mm-hmm. And it's also partly because we grew up with Cyborg not being in Justice League. So let's not forget that, you know, it has to do with the fact that it is a change for us. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes as human beings, we're reluctant to change. And, you know, it's associated with the New 52 comic books, which, you know, got a lot of flack, even though, you know, they shaped up near the end. Yeah. Of the New 52 imprint, I you know, let's say. But at the end of the day, you know, I just feel like Cyborg just doesn't really belong in the Justice League as a founding member. Maybe like down the road, you know, a couple movies in. But it just, you know, honestly, he's never really appealed to me. He's been great as a Teen Titan, but he's never really, like, I've never really been drawn to the character. But once again, like you said, you know, in terms of representation, it's kind of like, I think it's okay for you to say something like that, where, you know, he's a person of color, character of color, hero of color. We don't, you know, have many of them. And when they're on, when they're on screen, we want them to be great. Because similarly put, look at Wonder Woman. A lot of people are looking at Wonder Woman. They're like, I hope that movie's good for the sake of women heroes and women-led movies. Because, you know, if Wonder Woman isn't good, people are going to hate on the fact that it's a movie starring a female. It sucks, but it's the truth. So in the same way, we're rooting for her and her in that movie, because we all want to see more representation in these movies, including women characters. There are great women characters in both Marvel and DC comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think she was one of the best parts of Batman vs. Superman. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's also interesting and cool in the Justice League movie. But in Cyborg's defense, I remember reading that they said he's like one of the mother boxes. Like, he's literally a mother box, and I think thematically with where they're going, he's going to fit in and make sense, because they're going to deal with what are they called? The New Gods? Or Apocalypse and those people?
Let's just say Darkseid, Parademons, Apocalypse, that whole realm. New Gods. I don't know if they're going to introduce the New Gods per se. Yeah. But, you know, Apocalypse, Darkseid, Steppenwolf, that whole, like, arena.
And
you even saw some Parademons in the trailer.
We did.
They actually look pretty dope.
I was going to say.
They look pretty damn cool. Dope. They have a great design.
They look cool.
I like that.
They look... Actually, that's probably just armor. And they are Parademons inside the armor. Because at first I thought they were some sort of robotic enemies or something. Or aren't they? Because there's that scene where Flash kind of shoves that one guy through a door or something like that. That dude looks like a robot.
I don't know. You know, I actually don't know that. It's possible. It's possible that they've been integrated with technology via a la Cyborg and the Mother Box. Right? Is that what they call it? Mother Box?
The Mother Box, yeah.
Yeah. That sounded weird coming out of my mouth for some reason. Also, I was like, Mother Box. Also, you know, like their armor might have tech in it. You know what I mean? True. So like, and not only that, like Barry Allen has lightning, you know, powers. You know what I mean? He has lightning coming off him. So when it, you know, it could have, the way it looked with the you know, these troopers in metal and him having like electricity could have given the impression that like the Parademon was a robot, but it could just be the effect of the metal meeting the electricity and metal, you know, breaking or getting scratched and so on and so forth. I don't think they're robots. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
It's just that...
But I do know they have tech.
Maybe not all of them. It's just, again, if you look at the trailer, that one scene where you see Flash like zipping back and forth fighting that one guy with the gun, it almost looks like he's very robotic. And I guess, real quick, again, to the look, the aesthetic of the DC movies, I actually do like how kind of gaudy and just like, I don't know, this is like an aggressive look to the costumes and to the environments. Like it really, I do enjoy that they look different, because in terms of like the Marvel movies, a lot of people look like they're just wearing, you know, leather and costumes. Some people have like armor and stuff like that, but you know, it looks more down to earth and more, you know, I guess toned down in a sense. Meanwhile,
Marvel does?
Marvel, yeah. Like if you look at like Guardians of the Galaxy, they're not wearing like anything crazy. You know, it still looks good, but they're wearing, you know, like leather pants or whatever, like cargos, I guess, Star-Lord. But the Justice League, you know, they're coming out there looking heavy. Got armor. You know, I know some people weren't crazy about the Batman armor, which we'll probably get into a discussion about it soon. But actually, I like how just big and aggressive Batman looks. And there's a scene where you see him in like some sort of big mech or something, and they're just like destroying everything. I mean, there are some problems with them just destroying.
You said
everything.
A mech?
He was in like some sort of mech in the trailer.
It was the Batmobile. I think it was the battle version, like a battle variation of the Batmobile. I was actually gonna bring that up. So near the end of the trailer, like Wonder Woman's kind of fighting somewhere, and it looks like he has some type of mech. I was under the impression that it was a version of the Batmobile, like kind of like a battle version of the Batmobile, because you kind of see it reminded me of like Arkham City or Arkham Knight rather, the video game Arkham Knight, where you know the Batmobile has kind of like a battle mode, but it basically he's climbing up this wall in some type of vehicle, and it seems to have like a mechanical leg, so to speak, that's helping him climb up the wall. I assumed it was the Batmobile, like in a variation form, but now I'm looking at the cockpit or variation of the Batmobile, but now I'm looking at the cockpit and it's clearly not, because you're right, it is some type of mech thing. But you know, we saw him, and I think in the previous trailer or teaser or image, we saw him like working on something. It's possible he's working on that.
Yeah.
But I also want to bring up the fact that you know, regarding, you know, the gaudy costumes, I think it's great that they, you know, are fully embracing the look of the characters and also putting their own spin to it. You know what I mean? Like Wonder Woman looks great, Aquaman looks great. I'm still on the Flash costume. I'm still on Cyborg, but you know, it pops. Yeah, it pops, and that's dope. That's dope. And Flash, they did say early on that Flash is supposed to get a new costume in the movie, so we'll see. That might not even be like the end costume he has. Yeah, we have a new one by the end of it.
A lot of people were saying that this is supposed to be like Flashpoint, Flash's suit. I'm just gonna look it up real quick.
That's supposed to be his Flashpoint suit?
I remember someone saying something that it's supposed to be reminiscent of that.
I don't think he wears that suit during Flashpoint. What do you mean reminiscent of, do you mean the suit he has post Flashpoint? Is that what you mean? That looks more like his Injustice suit, like the alternate.
True. You're right. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that looks.
Injustice. You're right.
Yeah, it looks like the Injustice suit.
My bad.
You know, with the armor plating. Also, I'm looking. I'm sorry. I'm looking at his costume, and I mean, this makes sense if you're wearing some type of armor plating costume and you're a speedster. But he kind of like a cup on to cover his crotch, and it's like not like connected to anything, so it just looks like he's wearing a random, like, oddly shaped arrowhead cup. And it just looks pretty... I'm going to share the picture with you because I just stumbled on it and, it looks weird. But, ultimately, I think it's a great trailer. I think it's a great trailer. I would even go as far as say it's a great trailer. Cyborg still looks a little questionable. We have our doubts, but, I'm going to be optimistic for the sake of not being pessimistic.
Okay, final question then before we move on.
Yes.
Does this trailer make you want to see the movie? Or any more or any less?
Not anymore. I always wanted to see the movie, but at the end of the day, it's still DC. It's just like, it's like if you get into a fight with an argument with your girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other, and the person says something you didn't like, right? And then they come back and they give you flowers or something or chocolate, or they buy you something nice like that, and they just come back and they don't really say anything to you, they just give that to you. What they're giving you looks nice, but does it solve the previous, argument you just had? No. And it may be an apology of some sorts, but you kind of need to talk it out. And I feel like with these movies, with the Justice League and all the DC movies, like, I've had an argument with DC. Batman vs Superman to me was not good. And I didn't like that. And now they come to me with this trailer like, hey, we got jokes in here. We got jokes in here, Hazy. It looks good, Hazy. We got the other Justice League members. But it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do to fix the problems for Batman vs. Superman? Because we need to go back to the original argument before I'm mesmerized by this trailer you gave me. So that's where I stand with DC. What about you?
A little bit. I mean, Warner Brothers better give all the thanks in the world to DC Rebirth, because that's really the only thing that's kind of keeping me in the DC realm. And then some of the cartoons, but... the movies themselves, they have a ways to go. But I guess because I'm really enjoying DC Rebirth, I'm like, we'll see how this turns out. I'm probably not going to rush to go see it. We'll see how initial reviews turn out. But just a little bit. Move me a little bit up. Fun fact. I don't know if you noticed, Barry Allen's father.
Yes, I did.
Billy Crudup.
I did.
Who also
he was in prison.
Played Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
In the Wild.
Yeah, he Billy Crudup. Yeah.
Oh, DC Rebirth.
That's
tie right there. Bada bing, bada boom.
What's also interesting about that is I wonder if they're gonna go the same route of, his father taking the fall for his mother's death and it being Reverse Flash who actually killed his mother or something along those lines. You see this TV show doing whatever. And in the comics, I think in the comics that has been a story that's been told. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. I can't remember if there is a comic. There is like a storyline for Flash where the Flash. Like I'm confused by the TV show and the comics. I feel like there was a storyline in the comics. Like originally, it wasn't. Like it was like a random criminal that killed Barry Allen's mom. I think. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. But interesting. I wonder if they're gonna have some type of origin like that for Barry Allen. We'll see.
Yeah. And I noticed this movie's coming out in November. I thought it was supposed to come out this summer.
Is it?
It's coming. It said at the end of the trailer November. I thought it was coming out.
Oh yeah, November
sooner.
No, because I think Wonder Woman's coming out in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So
it's coming out in the next couple months, I think. But
yeah, so
which is fine. I'm not really complaining. I thought it was coming out sooner, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fine release date. Like I'm cool with that. It falls well with the fall season. But I did think it was coming out earlier as well. One of them was coming out June 2nd, by the way. Not quite summer, but definitely the summer movie season.
Yeah,
that falls within the summer movie season. But what's interesting is, when does Guardians of the Galaxy come out?
That is in May. I think it's May 5th.
Well, then I must be thinking of Thor Ragnarok, because one of those movies is dropping out in May. I think it's Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Not May, in November. Sorry.
I believe so. I don't know.
November 3rd is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, boy.
So I want...
I mean, okay, look. Let's be honest here. I don't think this will have a problem competing against Thor Ragnarok. But me personally, I don't know. I kind of want to see Thor Ragnarok more than I want to see Justice League.
And the only reason why you're saying that is because you're invested in what Marvel has built so far.
Yeah.
That's the sole reason.
Because
there's Thor, there's Hulk. We know Doctor Strange is supposed to make an appearance.
Yeah.
So
Thor Ragnarok can either be, it's 50-50. Either it's another Thor 2 or it's something that's like good and fun to watch. Fun. It needs to be, that movie needs to be fun. Just a lot of just destruction. People just having crazy fights and stuff like that. But anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and stay away from the Earth cast.
Yes.
So I don't want to see what's her name, Kat Dennings. I don't want to see her. I already know what's her name's not going to be in it. Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman. Yeah. But I don't need to see Kat Dennings' character. I could take Eric Selvig.
Yeah.
I don't mind him, but Kat Dennings' character, you know, she could kick rocks for this movie.
I mean,
no offense to her.
I wouldn't mind seeing Kat Dennings, but not in this movie.
Yes. All right, man. Let's head on out, man. Yeah. Justin, what's your final say on Justice League trailer? Yay or nay?
Good trailer. Good trailer.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, I'd be more hyped had the movies been better. But
agreed, 100%. I think that's a final way to end off. Yeah. But thank you guys for checking this out, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think of Justice League, man. Let us know what you think about some of the things we said. All right, later. Peace.